Hello my lovelies and welcome back to Sandra Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. This is your daily tarot reading for the 24th of July 2024. We'll be using the Stardust Wanderer Tarot for today's daily tarot reading, and I am absolutely amused that they chose the ship tapestry simply because this is a Space Pirates deck. So yeah, we've got a theme going on. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, my lovelies, I am back. I have all your cards out on the table. We have two aces, one major arcana, so some opportunity showing up for you, although it may be very minor. Just based on that, we do have two synchronicities as well. We have 222 and we have 555. So, connections and changes. But anyway, let's jump right in here. The best part of your day, we start off with the Two of Cups. The Five of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, the Ace of Cups, and the Eight of Pentacles. Huh. Okay, I actually kind of like this. That there's some part of you that becomes aware of something, and it's about yourself, believe it or not. Or at least that's what it feels like. Majority energy feels like this is a realization of self. You literally connect to a specific knowledge about yourself. Because let's face it, when we're tried and tested, we learn. It's all about learning. And here you're connecting to that. You're connecting to something that you do, which either is your downfall or makes your success. You come to realize with that information why sometimes in really good opportunities, while they aren't bad for the opportunities themselves, have a tendency to fall apart or be incorrect or not go quite how you hoped. And this, of course, in turn inspires you enough to keep on dreaming, to keep on going, to work harder at it. In other words, you start having enough information and realization of what needs to change and where, or how you could do better. And that is always a good thing. So we're talking about course correction. Like I said, what you are connecting to for an aspect of yourself is either something that is your success or your downfall. So where you went wrong, or something else that may actually be your breakthrough moment. Example. Okay, example. All right. Perhaps every time you're at work and you get assigned a project, you always use data and information from other people. In other words, you do not do your own research. And those projects, that when you do that, have a tendency to be very poor on the production scale or the outcome scale, if you want to put it on a scale. It is not exactly your best quality work because you are relying on the information data of others and you are not going back and double checking it. And of course, that simple course correction would be to do your own data or double check the data and information you are given. In other words, do your due diligence and do your research. Or here, another example, perhaps anytime you work on a project, you plan it all out, you get it all lined up, it is all perfect, and say it has 8 steps. Well, by the time you get to step 7, you then hand it off to the next person for them to complete. And somewhere between step 7 and step 8, the quality of work goes down. And it's because you are not completing it yourself. Instead, you are giving a nearly completed thing to somebody else and they are lost in the process. So things are a little bit downgraded. Perhaps maybe bringing them in earlier or giving them more information so they know what to do to properly complete it, so quality is not lost, is a better outcome. See? Things you learn about yourself, habits, little nuances, which, may or may not involve others. This is what you're coming to realize about yourself. And it's actually a big pick-me-up. Now, the worst part of your day, we have the King of Cups, the Eight of Swords in the reverse, the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Two of Wands in the reverse. And of course, this is a resistant position, so it makes all these cards difficult energy. Okay, so this is where you might actually be a little more judgmental or harsh on yourself, especially if you're looking at yourself and what you can do, but also your own actions. You may be very much in your emotions, and that might be difficult for you to step out of your emotions and just be unbiased, to look at it objectively, to take the emotional, I am a failure or I'm always successful, take the ego out of it, to look at it. That way you can get plans and everything else on the ball, on the go, to get everything all squeaky clean and the gears starting to roll to make progress. Okay, so your hang up is actually your emotions probably getting in the way, your ego getting in the way. And let's face it, when we self-reflect, removing our ego and our own negative self-narrative is really hard. So between the ego blabbing in our ear, the negative self-narrative that comes from other emotional experiences and past history, it's really hard for us to be in a clear, calm, unbiased, objective space to look at things, to see them, acknowledge them, accept them from what they are without projecting our own emotional response onto it. And that's what we're dealing with. Whether things are good, whether things are bad, it's going to be really hard to reel that in. Especially if we're realizing things about ourselves, things that maybe we've done that aren't so great or aren't the best course of action. So there might be some truths here that we don't want to look at, that we don't want to admit we're the problem or we're contributing to the problem. Okay. That one can sometimes be a tough pill to swallow for some people. Okay. Our obstacle, or how to get over our obstacle. We have the Nine of Cups in the reverse. The World. The Nine of Wands in the reverse. The Two of Swords in the reverse. The Queen of Wands in the reverse. And we have the Five of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this is literally our obstacle. So when things are not as we wish, but yet we still want to move forward, we wish to complete things. Sometimes we have to double check our boundaries, our choices, where we have staying power, where we don't, and therefore make choices. And choosing new directions. in those areas, especially those where we may have done us a disservice. We haven't used our power wisely. We haven't had confidence. We haven't had everything we needed, so therefore we were undermined in our power base. And we have to come to terms with that. We have to realize not only it's not that bad and not beat ourselves up on it, but when it comes to finding the solution and what choices to make, we have to make one that we're satisfied with. And sometimes that means the choices we do make are ones that maybe we don't think are as prudent or as important. Anytime you're doing something, sometimes it's just the smallest little detail. You go back and you just tweak it a little bit. You tweak it a little bit. Sometimes you literally, if you're putting something together, it's just how you hold things together at just the right angle. Really small detail, but it makes a world of difference. Sometimes things just have to be timed right, and maybe it's only like a 10-second difference. Not exactly the most powerful action, but yet making choices like that have more satisfaction than what we were doing before. Like I said at the beginning of the reading, we have 2 aces and 1 major arcana. So we have potential for a big opportunity, but it's on a very small scale. It's not a big, wow, in your face, life-changing moment, but that little itty-bitty small change is very prevalent in that opportunity. And it's going to do you well to try and locate that. And in this case, we're looking at behind the scenes. We're looking at the fine details. Because there's something there. Something probably pretty quiet that you probably overlooked or didn't think about. Why? Because you don't think it's, the shit. You don't think it's this all-powerful thing, and yet it's enough to throw a monkey wrench in everything that's going on. Because let's think about it. If these are all gears turning around, all it takes is one little pebble and somebody going doink right into the gears, and the gears stop. Sometimes it's literally the small things, and that's what this is. And to identify it, you're going to realize some aspects about yourself, what you're doing, what you're not doing. If I do this, what's the result? Am I always doing this? Okay, what's always happening as a result? If I'm not doing this, what's always the result? If I always plan things always in the same way, what's the result? Maybe my planning's wrong. Okay, so that's going to vary for each of you, but there's some aspect of self. Like I said, it's either something that breaks you, that's being highlighted, or you realize some aspect of yourself is your success point. Maybe you have a skill that is really needing to be exercised more, but you rarely use it. But yet when you do, you have great success. So there's 2 sides to that. And it's going to vary which one you're getting highlighted for. Which one, it's like a rocking of a boat. Okay. Is that why you wanted the ship tapestry? I usually use this tapestry when it comes to deep emotions, nostalgia, but the 3 ships remind me of the 3 of Wands, so the embarking energy. And here we are trying to move forward. So if we've gotten to a point where things are a little bit stagnant or need course correction, we're literally trying to embark in a new direction. It's a little bit more prudent. I guess that's probably more the reason why they wanted this tapestry, but at the same time, meaning that rocking motion of a ship, just rocking back and forth in the waves. Huh. And they're pointing out the King of Cups, which of course was the first card in our worst part of the day, that your emotions, your emotional responses could end up interrupting you in your planning and moving forward. Okay. Tossed about on the ocean of your emotions. Okay. Yeah, some of this might have some feels attached to it for a lot of you, since they're bringing it up that way. I don't always get sensations, so the fact that I was getting that is probably something important, so pay attention to it. I did add up all your cards, by the way. Everything here adds up to 88, which also reduces to 7, which is the mind and creativity. Yet you're going to have to think about this. This is something to actually examine and look at. And as our first 2 cards, if I can pick them up, what you're connecting to is something you've learned, knowledge you have. It's in your mind. I mean, we're just now trying to make the right connections. Remember, one of our synchronicities is 222. To connect with knowledge of the subconscious and see the patterns, whether they are for us or against us. You know, either that success in that aspect of ourselves, or what's actually breaking us at some point. But once we learn that, that's when we get creative, because that's when we get the right ideas in order to course correct, to change things, shake up the variables. Okay, let's move on to your astrology. The moon in Pisces conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Focus on your goals and long-term plans. Make tweaks to improve and make them more realistic. There you have it. I can't make it any more clear-cut and dried than that. So we're going to go ahead and leave this here. If it resonates, by all means, give me a thumbs up. And if it doesn't, don't worry. It's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye.